Welcome to Everyday First Class. In this video, we are talking about how to live in a castle. Welcome to Everyday First Class. I'm Joanna, and on this channel, we are working to help you make your life better every day. In this video, we are talking about how to live in a castle, no matter where you're living now. Let me share with you a little bit what I'm talking about. There are 3 ways that you can implement right now to help make your home into your castle. The first step is appreciation, gratitude, and attitude. Let me share with you a few stories. Many years ago, I used to live in a 4-plex. It's like a duplex, except there's 4 units. These establishments were not well known for their luxury. Let's just say they could be referred to as roach motels with the actual roaches. It was not the greatest place to live. However, I had a neighbor who didn't seem to be aware that there was anything wrong with her surroundings. In fact, when I went over to her place and visited her, I walked in and didn't know where I was. Yes, it was a rental, but she had gotten permission to do some improvements, some decorating. Her house was beautiful, her place was beautifully decorated. She had borders up on the wall and nice bedspread and throw on the couch, and I felt like I'd absolutely been transported to somewhere else, even though her unit was exactly like mine in every way. I'm assuming roaches included. I really learned a lesson from her. The approach that you take can make all the difference. She took care of what she had, and in turn, it gave back to her a more pleasant place to live. Here's another example. When I was 20 years old, maybe 21, I visited Bolivia on a mission trip. We were outside of a major city, which had a lot of the modern conveniences that you would expect. However, it is still a developing country. And the area that we were working in to help build a children's hospital was extremely poor. In fact, there was a family with 2 young daughters living in the building that we were renovating to become the hospital. In the United States, that building would have been condemned. They spent half their day, as far as I could tell, outside cooking their meals over an open fire with a big black kettle. When I returned home, I had now improved myself to a student-subsidized apartment. When I returned to my 1-bedroom apartment, which was certainly nothing fancy, it felt huge to me. It felt literally like a castle compared to what I had seen in Bolivia and how those people were living and surviving, basically squatting in a building with questionable structure. Attitude, appreciation, and gratitude. Nothing can help you develop gratitude faster than seeing how other people live. Think about that and then look at your surroundings. Maybe it's not quite so bad. Point number 2, cleanliness. You may have heard cleanliness is next to godliness. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean, but my dad always said that being poor is no excuse for being dirty. So regardless of your income level, keeping your area clean can help improve your standard of living immensely. Now, it would be really nice to be able to just pay somebody else to handle all of that. And if you have those within your means, then absolutely do it. It can be a lifesaver. If not, make sure to take that extra effort yourself. Having a clean environment is, of course, healthier for your body, improving the quality of air that you breathe and just your general health. But it also is good for your mental health. When you're in an area that's clean, you're not being bogged down by all of the mental, emotional, and physical dust that you're surrounded with. Having a clean environment is absolutely essential to making your current environment into a castle, no matter where you live. Kind of related to cleanliness is Feng Shui. Being clean is very important in concepts of Feng Shui, which, if you're not familiar, is the art of object placement around your house for sometimes metaphysical purposes. Now, even if you don't believe that what you have over your mantle can impact your family's health, it does get you into the practice of being intentional about the placement of items in your home and how that affects the way you and your environment interact with each other. I do believe that there's something to it. I also believe that each home really does have its own spirit. If you've ever watched any of those shows where a place gets abandoned and people stop living in a house or stop inhabiting any building, it goes downhill like that. Within a decade, it's falling in on itself. Whereas if somebody's living there, even if they're not lifting a finger to improve the house or repair anything, it doesn't fall apart nearly as fast. Why do you think that is? I believe that humans living in a place contributes to the spirit of the environment. I don't know exactly how that works, but think about it, and maybe it will help you interact with your home better. Here's a few quick tips on some things that I do to help me keep my house cleaner. Unfortunately, I currently do not have a housekeeper. It's on my list. But here's some things that I do when I have to take care of it all myself. So you've probably heard about the vacuuming robot, the iRobot. I have one and I love it. Is it perfect? No. Does it get the job done? It does get about 80% of the job done. Pretty much all I have to do is go around and pick up after we named our robot Frida. So I chase around after Frida when she gets done, and I'll use a hand vac to get in the corners, places that she may have missed. And it works out really well, especially when you don't have a lot of time to do all of the vacuuming yourself. It can be a lifesaver. Another thing that I do is use an in-between shower spray. Now, cleaning the shower is one of my least favorite household tasks of all. So what I do is I have a spray that I can spray down the inside of the shower after each shower, and it lengthens the amount of time between deep cleanings. It's an absolute lifesaver and a time saver. I use one that I get from an online shopping club that I'm part of. If you're interested in what that product is, reach out to me, I can let you know. There are other products on the market that do a similar thing. I think the one I use is the best, but go out and find one and make sure it's a product that is as clean as possible. The last thing you want is to be spraying down toxic chemicals in the shower where you are rejuvenating your body, cleaning your body. The last thing you want is to be breathing in toxic chemicals while you're doing that. Another thing that I do is wiping down the bathroom when my son is in the tub. So if you have little ones that you still have to participate in the bathing process, when he's splashing around playing, I've got a rag, I'm wiping down the toilet, I'm wiping down the sinks, maybe get the mirror really quick. It just makes it a lot easier to keep up and, again, lengthen the time between the deep cleanings that are required. Another really great tip in the kitchen is to keep your counters as bare as possible. When you have to be constantly picking things up and wiping and picking things up and wiping, take everything off to clean it, then put everything back, it reduces the chances that you're actually going to get that done. I've noticed that when I remove things from the countertop, find other places for them, not only does it look nicer and give the kitchen an appearance of being cleaner all the time, but it increases the chances of me actually getting out that spray bottle and cleaning it down on a consistent basis. Now, again, whatever you're using to clean your countertops, I use one from an online shopping club that I'm part of. Whatever you use, make sure it is as clean as possible. There are a variety of great products out there that do not contain toxic chemicals that will make your lungs look like you smoked a pack a day for 20 years. Avoid those products, please. Get something clean, natural, maybe essential oil based. Those are some of the best cleaners that I have personally experienced. The third tip is to pick one room at a time. If you're starting from scratch, it can be overwhelming to try to convert your entire house at once. So what I do is I start with one room. Maybe it's even the smallest room in the house. I personally recommend starting with the room that you spend the most time in, because you're going to get the most benefit out of the input that you give into your house if you are in that room a lot. There was a program on HGTV many years ago that is no longer on the air, and I really miss it. I believe it was called Sensible Chic. And what they did was they took a picture of an expensive room remodel, you know, it's thousands of dollars, and then they recreate it for maybe a couple of $100s. And they were able to do some really great work by matching up less expensive options or secondhand items to recreate the look of that room in a much less expensive way. So you don't have to shell out the thousands of dollars for a room remodel. But go one room at a time. Take your time, think about it, put some deliberate effort into it. The amount of effort you put into it will be the amount that you're getting back out of it. You also may want to recruit a friend who has an eye for design if you do not have one. I find this subject challenging. However, when we were remodeling a couple of rooms in our house, I have a friend who has an excellent eye for design, and we invited her over, and she helped us pick out the right colors for the room to go with the lighting that we usually have, the items that were going in there, and that was a monumental help to us. A few quick tips that have helped us in this department is if you have a mantle or fireplace that isn't particularly attractive, that can be pretty expensive to replace. What we did was we got a nice fireplace screen. I believe we got ours from Plow and Hearth. And just putting that on there distracts you from the less attractive elements of the fireplace or mantle and to the beauty of the screen. Another really fast, quick fix is to replace knobs and handles. This is fast, easy, relatively inexpensive, depending on which knobs you select, but just changing the hardware on doors and drawers can actually change the feeling and the vibe of the room completely. When it comes to window coverings, actual curtains can be really, really expensive. I was blown away at how expensive, especially custom curtains, can really be. So what we did was got blinds, and we were so happy with the blinds that we got from Blinds Chalet. I'll drop a link to it in the description. But we got blinds from Blinds Chalet, and they were acceptable quality for a very good price. And if you watch for sales, you can get a 20, 30, 40% discount, which is great. We ended up putting those blinds on pretty much all of our windows throughout the house. They're very easy, open, close, very economical, and you can get them in a variety of colors to match the environment in your house. So to recap, attitude and gratitude and appreciation, keeping it clean, and one room at a time. Sensible chic it if you have to. I hope that these tips have been helpful for you. If so, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, hit the red subscribe button, and of course, hit that little notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video, and you could learn something to help make your life better every day.